Hey everyone, my name's Steve. I live here on the Isle of Man in the United Kingdom, and this is basically episode 1 of my long and ominous ordeal with regard to rehabbing a ruptured Achilles tendon. So a little background, I'm a personal trainer. I do a bit of online coaching and I work in a one-to-one format in the gym. I'm also a bodybuilder, and for many years I played and coached football. I retired from football in my early 40s, and I'm 50 this year, and I haven't played for a number of years. About a year ago, a friend of mine took his own life, and the team that he was affiliated with was very friendly with the team I played with, and someone set up a memorial game in his honor, and I was invited to play. Because I hadn't played for a number of years, I was reluctant to get involved, but I wanted to do something to honor his name, so I said I would play in goals. And basically, I turned up Saturday, put the boots on, warmed up, no problems at all. And then 10 minutes into the game, when I pushed off to start running, I felt this almighty crack in the back of my calf area. And I was convinced someone had kicked me from behind. It felt like someone had, maybe a sniper had shot me in the back of the leg. It was just this almighty searing pain and a bit of a crack. I turned around, fully expecting to see someone behind me laughing. I thought they'd kick me. Nobody was there. And then the next minute I went to put my foot down and felt absolutely nothing through the mid-foot area. And I'll be honest with you, the next few hours were a bit of a blur. I limped off the pitch. I noticed there was a bit of a trough where my calf met the Achilles. I hobbled around for another hour. I was picked up and taken to hospital. They did I think it's a Thompson test or a Simmons test. And the nurse in accident emergency said that she was pretty convinced that I'd ruptured my Achilles, a full rupture, but that I needed to be casted and then return because it was a weekend and they only had skeleton staff on. I needed to return on Monday for a scan and have a boot fitted. And that's exactly what happened. I wouldn't say I was in a lot of pain at the time. Obviously, a lot of pain instantly when it happened, but then not really a lot of pain. I just felt something wasn't right. Literally no pressure I could put through my foot at all. And then, like I say, overnight it swelled a lot. I couldn't put any pressure through it. And I was put in a cast, obviously, which limited my range of movement and put me into plantar flexion, although the casting wasn't great and I could still move the foot and wiggle the toes a lot. So Monday, I went back to get the scan done. The scan confirmed that I had a 3 to 4 centimeter break in the Achilles. I was put in this moon boot, which obviously puts me into a high degree of plantar flexion. And the goal being to encourage the two ends of the Achilles to meet and hopefully start to knit together. I'm still faced with a bit of a quandary whether to go down the surgical route, which would mean stitching the Achilles together, or to go with a lot less invasive approach of just keeping the boot on and letting the two ends naturally knit together. So obviously, from what I've read over the last 72 hours, the surgical route carries a lot of risk. There's no blood supply through the Achilles at all, and there's a high risk of infection. Obviously, with either approach, there's a massive risk of re-rupture at any stage. And I'm not going to lie, it's a really ominous and arduous journey ahead. Will I ever be right again? Again, there's a lot of people who have never been able to return to their normal level of activity. For me, I don't ever want to play football again. It was only, like I say, a spontaneous gesture, really, to honour a friend's name. It was, for me, a full recovery would mean I could go back to bodybuilding and just enjoying the day-to-day benefits of weight training as such. I'd like to be able to do cardio again. Obviously, I don't intend on running. I had at some stage planned to try and do an Ironman long after my bodybuilding goals had been ticked off, but I guess this is going to hinder that somewhat. So I'd just like to be able to get back to being a fit and healthy adult male. 50 this year, so I'm well aware that my competitive sportsman days are long behind me. However, I enjoy being in the gym. I enjoy being fit and healthy and active, and that is my long-term goal now. So I'm not going to lie, this has been a mental battle from the moment it happened. I haven't had a good run of it lately this year anyway. I contracted COVID, and being a lifelong asthmatic, that hit me quite hard. I had a cancer scare earlier in the year, and I've been through treatment for that. I'm still yet being given the all clear on that. I've had a gut problem where I had an overgrowth of candida, and I'm currently taking a load of functional medicine to try and eliminate that, which will be followed by a repopulation phase of probiotics, prebiotics, and good quality yeast. So I have been a little bit down on my luck anyway, so this has definitely not helped. In all honesty, I feel like I'm in a bit of shock at the moment. I don't feel depressed, I just feel a bit lost. I feel a bit vacant and a bit empty, and I'm not sure what the future holds. Now, in the past, whenever I've had bad injuries, and I detached my tricep about 6 years ago, and that was another year before I could get back to full activity. And I was able to still train my good arm and my lower body. So what I'd like to be able to do sooner rather than later is train my good leg here and my upper body. Now, I've already tried to think positively. Obviously, the hospital have given me crutches to move about on. I'm partial weight bearing on this boot now, so I can get about. Now, a friend of mine who had a serious ankle injury recently bought something called an iWalk. So he's lent me this. Basically, it's something that attaches to the upper leg, and you can walk around like Long John Silver on a knee crutch. One other thing I've purchased already from Amazon, that should be here by the end of the week, is something called a knee scooter. Now, this will hopefully enable me to get back into the gym in a coaching capacity, and I basically just put my knee of my injured leg on the scooter, and I can move about the gym with my good leg. The minute I can get back in the gym in a coaching capacity, that means I can start to put a plan together with regard to training my upper body. And I know that if I can do something positive with the upper body and the good leg, that then is going to have the knock-on effect of keeping me in a positive frame of mind, and hopefully keeping my mental state in a good place. So that's where we're at. I've decided, obviously, even though in the UK we have the NHS, and so far it's the NHS who have dealt with the scans and the boot, I do have a private healthcare policy that I've had running for a number of years, and I've decided to go and seek the advice of the Orth team in Manchester. I spoke to a physiotherapist friend of mine, and she recommended someone over there. So I'm going over to see them on Friday, and even if they say that what I'm doing right is okay, at least that gives me peace of mind knowing that there's nothing I'm missing. There's nothing I could be doing more to speed up the recovery and bring about a better outcome. So, I'm always of the opinion that if you've got that facility, take it. So I'm going to go over there, speak to them. Could I be in a better boot? I'd like a protocol to follow with regard to timescales and what I should be doing at certain times of the recovery. In all honesty, I'm looking at being in this boot now for 3 to 4 months. There will be a process in place where they slowly reduce the amount of plantar flexion that I'm in to slowly bring me back to neutral around the 8-week mark. You still stay in the boot then, I believe, and it's a case of gradually, with a physio, improving range of movement, improving strength through the area, balance and coordination through the area, and, at all costs avoiding re-rupture. The minute or let's say worst case scenario, it re-ruptures, and then back to square one, and then the likelihood is I'll have to go down the surgical route. So, everything I'm reading now states that you have to be extra cautious with regard to the rehabilitation of this injury. So that's it, pretty much. That's who I am. That's what's happened to me. One thing I've noticed since this has happened is that there's very, very little out there with regard to information, and there's not really, other than someone called SJ who's documented this, a similar journey from Australia. There's nothing really out there with regards to something you can follow to give you hope. So if I can do anything over these next few weeks, it's not only something that I can look back on to see what I was going through at that time, but also something that people can use as a reference point should they have the same problem and should they be faced with the same journey. And I'm not going to lie, it's an ominous journey. For someone who's used to being active, for someone who's probably taken for granted being able to go into a gym on a daily basis and train freely, the prospect of having to go to bed every night with a tight, hot boot on, and being very, very limited with regard to, what they can do on a day-to-day basis with regard to exercise. This is going to be a real battle of my mind, and therefore it's a battle I need to win. I'm already a member of a forum. I've already touched base with people both in the UK and in the US who are going through a similar situation. The biggest problem people seem to be faced with in this first week is, do they have a surgical intervention, or do they go down the non-invasive route of just wearing the boot and trying to encourage nature to do its course? So that's a decision that obviously when I speak to the specialist in Manchester on Friday, inevitably I'll have to come to a decision on what I do. Me personally, I'd much rather let the body, as a coach, I'm under no illusion just how fantastic the human body is. Its healing abilities, its ability to just get over anything really, and beat anything that's thrown at it. So in my head, it makes more sense just to let the body do what it needs to do to heal itself. However, some of the most, Kobe Bryant's an example. Some of the best paid, most exposed, athletes at a very, very high level have opted to go down the surgical route because they want to get back into the game. So it's one of those situations where I want to choose the right decision and not regret that later on. Okay, so like I say, this is week one. I'll probably throw one of these out every week just to update people on my progress. Gives me an opportunity to document this, maybe something to look back on if I make a full recovery, just to remember where I was at that given time. I think that's pretty much it really for this stage. I've already had a number of friends obviously rally round, try and help me with things, and it's much appreciated. I'm not in a good place mentally. I haven't been since it happened. Trying to keep a smile on my face, trying to keep positive, but it's tough. And the moments I am on my own, and the moments I try and think about the goals I had set for this year and what I could be doing right now, that's when it gets a little bit depressing. So definitely it's a battle I need to win sooner rather than later, and then from there I can start to hopefully see light at the end of the tunnel. So I'll leave that there, and obviously the next one you get from me will be week 2.